$750. My name is Werner Puchert, and this is Finding Frequency. Now I'm going to talk about the $750 because, as I mentioned, this podcast is also about a little time capsule for my son. And hopefully my son will listen to this episode and he'll gain a perspective of some of the things that I've learned over the last couple of years. And sometimes I feel like I might be a little bit negative. It's difficult for me to think that I might have to go to a corporate job again one day. Perhaps that'll be true, and hey, I'll do my best. I always work hard, just like I did today. I believe that in the end of the day, if I get given a task, I will use all my skills and my talents to deliver on that task to make sure I get paid my salary. And then you know what? As what's happening to me right now with the Polish government, they've changed the legislation on invoicing. I have to adapt to that. I have no clue how that works, and I'm relying on my accountant to explain that to me. Don't know what it means. So now I have to go through a whole process because, heaven forbid, if I don't follow that process, I might find myself into trouble. Just like I did in South Africa once when I made a mistake on my tax return and had to end up with about, 3 salaries worth of money that I had to pay back. Thank heaven someone helped me out of trouble there and solved it for me. But there's so many other people who do not know how to solve these kind of problems. I'm also angry because when I think about big corporations like the one I worked for before, I remember them changing my contract continuously the 1 year because they tried to adapt to the tax laws changing in the country. On the one side, the government wanted their money, and on the other side, the corporate entity that I was working for didn't want to pay the money. Ultimately, it came out of our salaries. We all had to take a pay cut and every month try and sneak away and figure out how we can tell the government that we actually earn the money that we earn. It's always the little guys who end up paying. And the joke is the big guys, the 1%, they always tell us about how they are creating jobs for us. And that's not true. It's not been proven at all. Giving the rich people a tax break doesn't mean that we're all going to benefit from that tax break. It just means more islands, more airplanes, and more bigger cars. Yes, I might sound like a little bit of a bitter liberal, but I've seen enough of this. Yes, for some of us, and perhaps a lot of us from South Africa, it's all about the corrupt politicians. But I tell you what, they're just puppets. The strings are being pulled by people who pay $750 a month. Sorry, not a month. Is that 10 years? The 1%. It makes me upset. Because I know at the end of this month, I'm going to have to pay tax again. And then, if something goes wrong and I lose my job, I will receive a pittance. It's time for us to change the presidents of Belarus and change the presidents of Russia. And for heaven's sake, I hope my friends in America will change the president in the United States. Let there be one light in this world. $750. Now, I must add that this has not been proven. A reputable newspaper wrote this. They did their research, and I understand that they do a good job with their reporting. And perhaps there's a bigger story to this. But for me, at this point in time, it's just a little bit of an echo of all the experiences I have. Because they are these clever people. It reminds me of Animal Farm. We are all equal, but some are more equal than others. And perhaps that's also okay because some of us, and I tip my hat to that, work harder than others. I don't want lazy people to win. Hey, we all need to put shoulder in the wheel and work towards something new and a brighter future. But $750? I don't know. I just don't know. But that is the news of today. Will it have an impact on the future? I don't know. Will things change? I don't know. It's funny. I think we've watched too much TV shows over the years because we are so eager to accept an apology, so eager to forgive and root for the underdog. Surely Mr. Trump cares about us, the working class. Sorry that I'm riffing like this, but I am a little bit upset. I'm not surprised. I'm just a little bit upset. I want us all to have benefit and gain from that. I want Francie to have a bright future. I don't want Francie to deal with assholes that I'm dealing with sometimes. People who are earning a lot of money and paying little tax. I don't know what the real answer is. Perhaps you can share that with me. What is the thing that we need to work towards? What is the guiding light? What is the guiding light of democracy? And perhaps I'm just a bit frustrated because I'm seeing democracy in action. Because a democratic conversation doesn't always go your way. You have to accept that sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. And maybe it's not about win or lose, maybe it's about compromise. And the answer is perhaps in compromise. And we are chasing the win or the lose. Who chases a lose? Avoiding a lose, a loss. I'm rambling. And perhaps I'm a bit tired after a long day of work. Perhaps I'm a little bit tired because I know at the end of the month, I'm going to have to pay a fair amount of that work back to the government. I just hope the government's spending it wisely. I hope that those who are taking the money from me is paying a little bit more than $750.